Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Live with Grace podcast. Today on the podcast, we'll be talking about seasons of uncertainty, which are seasons where we don't really know what's ahead or how things are going to play out, or if they'll play out exactly how we planned, and all those types of circumstances that kind of leave us as athletes wondering if we're going to achieve what we were meant to achieve. And today I'm on the show with Bruno Alves, who is a class of 2023 varsity football player and actually multi-sport athlete that just graduated from Creekside High School. And Bruno is currently pursuing a career in football, sorry. And we are going to discuss, like I said, this topic of the unknown and how it relates to being an athlete and kind of how we've both learned to grow through unfamiliar seasons. And we're also going to be talking about Bruno's journey because it's very unique and a lot of people can definitely take things away from that. So to start, Bruno, would you mind just telling us a little bit about your background and your story?
Yes, of course. Like you said, I do play football. Yes, like I just graduated and I am pursuing a career in football, playing at River City Prep, which is, a preparatory school that I'm not going to lose any eligibility in, just
Mm-hmm.
taking this first year as like, just to learn more about just the football aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but growing up, I never knew what football was, honestly. Like, I'm from Brazil, there, what it is, soccer, all around, all around, all around. I was always active,
Mm-hmm.
always active. Uh, and when I came here, I was introduced to it just super like it was just super flowy. Like I was introduced to it, and then like
Mm-hmm.
I kept doing it, and then like my mom, got into it too, and we kept on, doing leagues, and you know what I9 is?
Yeah,
I9
Grant used
Sports.
to play.
Yeah, yeah. So I did. It was crazy. Taking me back right now. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh.
Yeah, we kept doing those, and then middle school came around. Uh, and I did football, I did soccer, I did track, uh, and that was it for middle school, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as I came here, I knew no English from zero. I was
Wow.
11 years old. It didn't take me much to learn. It honestly took me about 4 months for me to
Mm-hmm.
be, just going
That's
around. Like
impressive. English is
I
hard.
could get around. Yeah, English is honestly, it was definitely challenging. It was definitely
Mm-hmm.
challenging. But gladly, there's some words that you can tell, whatever. Uh, and then high school came around, and then I just decided that, if I'm really gonna pursue sports, I gotta pursue one really, really hard
Yeah.
while still doing the others. So even though I grew up, like I've been playing soccer since I was like 3 years old.
Mhm.
Even though I grew up, playing that, just football just took over. It was weird. It just took over, and like I fell in love with it. And I've been playing football since freshman year,
Mhm.
in high school, of course. And then, but I also did soccer and track. I
Mhm.
did get all conference for, soccer all my years, and track as well. Not football though, because that's the reason why I actually moved schools. But
Okay.
you know, yeah, but
That's
yeah,
really
that's my
impressive.
background. Yeah.
Yeah, because most people they can't just jump into a sport in high school. Like I know if I had started basketball in high school, it would have been really hard to make the team, much less pursue a career in basketball and play at the higher levels that I wanted to play at that time.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess just we can start getting into the topic about and all these different things that you went through with moving countries and moving schools
Yeah.
and trying a new
Yeah.
sport. There's uncertainty and unknowns in every single thing that I'm
Yes.
sure that you
Yes.
tried. So, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear a season of uncertainty?
Honestly, whenever I hear that, it's more like where I'm, closing my eyes and I'm
Mhm.
like just letting God take me wherever He's gonna take me, even though it's uncertain.
Mhm.
I always knew that it was just always a path, regardless
Yeah.
that if it's uncertain, it's still, God's path. And, like
Mhm.
I still found out through the hardships and all that. But regardless, a season of uncertainty is bound to happen. It's bound
Right.
to happen. So yeah, like I just think of it as like, just a really, I honestly think of it as like a good thing, like
Yeah.
now that yeah, you feel me? Like I just feel like it's a good thing because even though it is good to always, know where you're going and, do
Mhm.
that and plan this and plan that, I feel like without uncertainty, I just feel like that I just feel like it's not real, you
Mhm.
know, because
Yeah.
everything that you're around and like all day long and like, you never know the exact steps that's going on. You never know, like, you feel me? Like,
Mhm.
so that's
Cuz
what yeah,
yeah,
that's what I
without the unknown or the uncertainty, then you don't have
think.
to have the faith that things are going to work out in that sense. And then also, like you said, it's kind of in a way exciting, even though I
Yeah,
think that
exactly.
it's scary or people have a lot of fear about uncertainty,
Hmm.
including myself at times, just because
Yeah, of
our
course.
society is really comfortable with knowing things and seeing things before, like
I agree.
having to see it to believe it type of thing.
Yeah.
But one of the books or something that I read recently, the author called uncertainty or the unknown kind of like a wisdom in the uncertainty, and that kind of goes along with what you said with
Yeah.
you like seeing how it's going to play out and
Yeah, exactly,
not
exactly.
knowing, almost like it's almost a good
Yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
exciting
Yeah.
to get to
It is.
see
Yeah, because
how.
I feel like honestly, without the, that uncertainty, none that I would have done would have been like, you know, like or like a surprise or like something
Mhm.
new. It'd just always be the same old.
Yeah.
And whenever, and every time you try something new, it's uncertain because you never know,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So you can't go through anything for real
Mhm.
without having that uncertainty. Like
Mhm.
nothing really is guaranteed. Nothing really is guaranteed, So
Yeah. Facts.
yeah, no, yeah.
How do you think that translates to moving to a new country and moving to a new school?
Yeah, so back in Brazil, it really happened like this. Like
Mhm.
it was like it was really just like a change of life like in a couple months. My mom was
Mhm.
like, we're going there to visit and then
Mhm.
we're gonna see if like we can stay because obviously it's illegal to
Mhm.
stay, but uh we had those dreams of
Moving to the
having a
States.
better life.
Yeah.
Not that in Brazil I didn't have a good life. I honestly had an amazing life. My mom had a
Mhm.
great job, like we lived in the city. I had a life honestly just like how I had here, but I was young, so I didn't really have
Mhm.
the any mentality of like pursuing anything yet.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
I wanted to be a ball player. Like I wanted to play soccer.
Mhm.
You feel me? That was like about it. Uh,
Right.
but I grew up very quick in Brazil, just because it was just always me, my mom, my brother,
Mhm.
and my mom and my dad have been separated since I was born. So it's just always been me, my mom, my brother, and that for some reason that just made us grow very quick.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, like in honestly a very good way, because
Mhm.
honestly, like I'm 18 right now, but I can tell you like I know what I'm doing. You feel me?
Mhm.
Uh,
Probably because you had
but
to
back,
take on that
yeah,
responsibility.
yeah,
That.
exactly, yeah, yeah. But back to the uncertainty though. Uh, it was just super like it was just super uncertain. Like I that's the only thing
Mhm.
I can say. Like I came here like I really didn't know what I was gonna do and like where could I go and like
Mhm.
how was I gonna learn this and that. Like
Right. Especially without speaking English
yeah,
either. I can't
exactly,
imagine
exactly. So
that.
yeah, yeah. So it was very exciting. At the same time, it was scary though because I was young, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So it was scary. Like I was like oh my gosh, like when is this gonna start?
What's
Or
gonna
like how do
happen?
I
Yeah.
get this? Or like
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But then gladly I got into the school and stuff, and I made friends just like that too.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, one of my best friends that just committed to Army, going to play football on a full scholarship. Like my best friend, like since I was in sixth grade, like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Like he like it changed my life, honestly. Like he's the one
Meeting
that like
him.
him and his yeah, like him and his
Mm-hmm.
dad were the ones that like taught me football and stuff. So like that, like I never knew that's the path that I was taking. I never knew that
Yeah.
that's where I was going. I
Mm-hmm.
never knew that, never. So these pieces, started coming in, and they like started building something in my life, like
Mm-hmm.
friends and relationships that I have with people, and like, teachers seeing that like I'm not from here and like
Mm-hmm.
wanted to help, and like me having
Yeah.
that, I don't know, just I just super blessed of everything,
Mm-hmm.
about everything, and all the affection, all the love that I've always received from people, and
Mm-hmm.
just it's it's taking me where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but again, I never knew,
Right.
that was like none of that had never just passed through my mind that really anything was gonna happen.
Yeah, like,
Like I just thought
oh,
I was finna, yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's
like
no way you would have
okay,
known, oh, I'm gonna move to the States, I'm gonna
yeah,
find a new
exactly,
sport, I'm gonna
exactly.
pursue that more heavily than soccer. I'm
Hmm.
sure when you moved, you just thought soccer, soccer,
Yeah,
just
no,
find
exactly,
something
exactly. Yeah, I
else.
thought soccer, soccer, soccer. And funny thing is though, is that we know Brazil is better than America's soccer, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
fact. I moved here. I was like, bro, like I'm finna destroy some kids here. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, like it's soccer, bro, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I got here and I just found football just so like I don't like whenever I'm at a sport and like I'm just like I can't even compete. You feel me?
Right.
Like I, I,
Mm-hmm.
I love competition.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
love not knowing if I'm gonna win or lose.
Uh-huh.
Like come on now. Uh, so yeah.
Versus it just being more easy for you
Yeah,
with
yeah,
soccer.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Comes more
exactly.
naturally. So
Yeah.
you'd say soccer is like your more natural sport?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. For
Interesting.
sure. But
Yeah,
if
because
I did keep no, go ahead, go
I feel like most people just tend to keep going with whatever sport that they're like
ahead.
better
Yeah,
at or more natural at,
yeah,
which I'm sure
yeah,
you're obviously a very talented football player as well, but with soccer
no,
coming
yeah.
easily
Soccer
to
is
you.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I
No,
love soccer. I miss
I
it.
could have gone crazy, man. If I really yeah, I know Messi being here is actually crazy right now. But uh I did love playing soccer. It's not
Mhm.
that I lost my love or I lost my interest.
Mhm.
It was just again like that uncertain sport just came in my life,
The
And
competition and maybe it
yeah,
being
and it just
something
came
new.
in. Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
crazy. And it was like I just loved the atmosphere since day one. It
Mhm.
was just crazy.
Mhm.
So
So do
yeah, I
you
went and I
think
picked with that and
Oh,
I'm liking
sorry.
that.
I didn't mean
No,
to
you're
cut you
good, you're good.
off.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Do you think that, with you moving countries, that was what prepared you to then move schools your senior year? For those that don't know, I know Bruno from my brother. He's really good friends with my brother Grant from Creekside, but Grant just met him his senior year because you transferred
Oh,
with
yeah,
it
I
being your
transferred
senior
from
year.
yeah.
I can imagine that wasn't easy either, even though you do meet people
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. So yeah, I did have a lot of friends already at Creekside.
Mhm.
But again, it was a risk, it was a risk that I was willing to take.
Mhm.
But again, like that road, that like it was literally like I had a blindfold on, and
Yeah.
I was just walking. But hey, like I let God take my hand and just take me,
Mhm.
and it honestly turned out to be super good because I wasn't playing. It's like I said it, but like I said it earlier in the podcast that
Mhm.
I did win a lot of accolades, like playing soccer and track,
Yeah.
but I've never won anything in football
Mhm.
because I didn't play. My coach wouldn't put me in at Elena Coast.
Oh
He wouldn't
wow.
play me. I practice harder than half the team, and
Mhm.
I lift more than half the team, and
Yeah.
go in day in day out, whatever. Like I wasn't doing it to to I'm not saying this that I'm like, oh yeah, some people didn't work hard enough and they didn't deserve that. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying is that I knew that my potential wasn't being
Right.
used. It
Wasn't.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
Yeah.
You feel me? It
I
just wasn't.
completely
So
understand. Yeah.
yeah,
Cuz that's
and
oh, sorry.
and
Continue.
no, you good. At Atlantic Coast though, like it was literally like a home. Like for real.
Mhm.
Like I did everything there. Like about pep rallies and stuff and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Yeah, like I did everything like that. Like I was friends with everybody. Like I was friends with all the staff and all that. And for
Aw.
me to move schools my senior year, you feel me?
Mhm.
Like it
It was
hit.
definitely yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, what person really does that? Not knowing what's finna is Creekside finna be the same as Ellen Nichols? Like, am I finna get along with the same people, or
Yeah.
is Creekside not the same? Or
Or even
am
with
I not gonna
football,
play? Yeah, yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
Even with football, I'm like, all right. So if I move, there's the football part, and I actually look. I'm a procrastinator. I'm not gonna lie. I am. You
It's
know,
okay.
I took the whole summer to not apply, but to
Like reach out to
call it, to
schools.
change schools. Yeah,
Oh, to
to
change
change.
schools. Gotcha.
Yes, to change schools. So I literally went to Creekside on August, I think it was August 3rd or something like that.
Mhm. And it probably started
And
like the
they had
10th.
already, yeah, yeah, no, and they had already done summer workouts, May, June, July. Like they had
Oh my
the
gosh.
spring before that.
Uh-huh.
So it's I was behind, bro. Like you feel me?
Mhm.
Like I hadn't, and I didn't do track my junior year. Like that was actually
Mhm.
a very low moment in my life,
Mhm.
kind of not really, but mentally, just because of that
Mhm.
thing. Like I was just feeling hold up, it's my junior year and
Mhm.
I didn't play football like I wanted to because my team didn't do what I needed them to do.
Yeah.
So it's I had that snap in my head. I'm like, bro, I gotta move,
Mhm.
and that's when it was that's when I entered that season.
Mhm.
I was just coming off hey, I got the Creekside, and instantly it was just a click too.
Right.
So it's that season right there just changed my life.
Mhm.
Even though it was a bad and mental moment in my life that I had to think about, so because it is a very business decision. It is
It really
to
is. Yeah.
change, yeah, to change schools and to make that move. It is it is,
Mhm. Yeah. I
especially for a
mean,
person that's willing to pursue a sport.
yes. I
Yeah, right.
completely understand. And
Mhm.
like I didn't think the podcast was going to take this direction completely. Like I wasn't planning on talking about this that early, but I feel the same way with like I'm moving schools this year and it was kind
Yeah.
of the same type of feeling of I'm literally doing everything in my power right now to get on the floor and
Yeah. Exactly.
contribute. And
Yeah.
then it's like you only have a certain amount of eligibility, which is why
Yeah.
it's really smart that you're doing prep school.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that this isn't my
That's a no
potential
brainer.
here. This isn't my fit here. So that's
Mhm.
why, you know, it was a season of uncertainty when I entered the transfer portal.
Mhm.
But then even still, I feel like this topic is really interesting because what season isn't a season of uncertainty, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Even when you got to Creekside, you knew that you were going to Creekside, you knew that you were going to play. You didn't
Mhm.
actually know what was going to
Yeah. Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Even when
Exactly.
you were on the field warming up, you didn't actually know what
Mhm.
decision your coach was going to make. Even when I entered the transfer portal, even when I committed to Roosevelt, I still don't know exactly what is going to happen. All I know is what I do
How it
today.
holds. Yeah.
All I know is
For
what I do
sure.
today. and what I speak into my life, which is good things and things that I
Yeah,
want to bring to life. But I don't actually know what it's going to look like when it plays
for
out,
sure.
you know?
For sure.
Have you ever been through like any injuries or like setbacks within track, football, soccer?
Well, so I have, but it was in middle school, so it didn't really
Still
affect much.
counts.
Thank God.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
I
didn't
hear
really
you.
affect much, but it did. Like it was the preseason game of my eighth
Mhm.
grade year, like the year
Mhm.
that you're really supposed to go off, right?
Mhm.
And on the preseason game, I'm over there playing corner, and then I was ready. Like I don't know, it just happened. Like the guy hit me from the back, and like I fell, and I
Yeah.
fell on my arm, and I broke my wrist. I was
Mhm.
out for the season.
Mhm.
It was crazy. I was super sad.
What did you
Super,
think
super sad.
you like took away from that? Was that a long? It's usually like 6 to 8 weeks for bone, right?
Yeah, that was no, that took it took me out of like a lot of stuff. Like I was still wearing brace when I was playing soccer. Like
Mhm.
that winter. It was
So it was
like
probably broken pretty bad.
yeah, no, yeah. It was like a no, yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
reason why I asked, or I guess just what made me think of that is just and we had talked about this a little bit before, but something I've dealt with this summer is plantar fasciitis in my foot, and it's something that
Hmm.
has been going on since last November, but it got extremely irritated early in the summer. And so I have this whole summer plan of this is where I'm going to train, this is my weekly schedule, I'm going to be playing pickup 3 times a week, I'm going to be doing lifts this many times a week, whatever, I'm going to be in like the best shape ever. And then my foot got so irritated that I literally had to take a
Cancel all
second to just let it calm down because I
that.
couldn't
Yeah.
play, I couldn't run or walk without it hurting, you
Hmm.
know? And so then what I go back to is sometimes I feel like life or God almost reteaches the same lessons
Same
over
lesson.
and over because last summer I went through the same thing. I had a third knee surgery and I had to follow this strict training program and trust that even though this isn't the conventional way that I would train, running sprints every day, doing this every day,
Yeah.
tearing my knees
Like this is
to
what's
the
gonna.
ground,
Yeah.
that I'm still
Literally.
going to be in shape. And
Yeah.
it
Literally.
worked. I was really in the best shape ever. So then this summer, this happened, and it's kind of looking at it. Yeah, it's a season of uncertainty, but
You
in
did
that
that back then. How
uncertainty,
about? Yeah.
yeah, it's like, okay, I've learned even more ways that I can deepen my faith and better myself as a player without tearing my body down and then still be in good shape by the end of the summer. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just been real interesting. I don't
That's
know if
that
you ever
balance right
had,
there. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you've ever had those times where you're entering, maybe even if it's not a new season, but you're dealing with something and you're like, this is a little bit familiar. I think I know,
No. Yeah. For sure.
you know?
For sure. For sure. For sure. For sure. So like the funny thing is, so my mom had. I mean, it's not funny, of course, but
Mm hmm.
we kind of joke about it now, but it's
Mm
not a
hmm.
joke. But so she had cancer, right? She
Mm
had
hmm.
liver cancer, and back in Brazil before we moved, she did a surgery.
Mm
I
hmm.
was like 10. I think I was like 10, about to turn 11.
Mm hmm.
It was like a couple. It was like a good couple months
Mm
before
hmm.
we came. Like a probably close to a year before we came, and she had a surgery, blah blah, and she got real bad, like because of the surgery. You know, like she got bad
Mm
for like
hmm.
weeks, right?
Yeah.
Like it's bad. Right, so then we move here, blah blah, and she still has, and then the cancer starts regrowing,
Mm hmm.
right? I think it was either eighth grade year or freshman year. I don't really I don't really remember,
Mm hmm.
but she uh it was New Year's, and she had to go to the hospital. Like I spent New Year's by myself. She had to
Mm
go to the
hmm.
hospital because something was wrong. Like she was feeling super sick, and she was in the hospital for like days,
Mm hmm.
days. It was
Wow.
crazy. So it was like you said, like kind of the same lesson. It was just like back then in Brazil, we did have help. We had our grandma and like our aunt that was taking care of her and stuff, you know.
Mm hmm.
But here, you know, it's just me and my brother.
Mm hmm.
And mind you, I'm like I'm like 12, like 12, 13, whenever this
Young.
happened,
Yeah.
right? And my brother's like 16, whatever, like 16, 17. Uh, the crazy thing is that we never went through that for real. Like me and him, like we've never
Mhm.
went through that like alone.
Mhm.
But again, we had already gone through that same lesson before. Like
Yeah.
she had surgery, like it was super bad in Brazil, like and she was and she and like it was super bad, like super super bad.
Mhm.
And then here the same thing happened, and we're just like, like we keep that faith, like we don't we don't see it as a setback. You feel me anymore?
Yeah.
We see it as like she getting bad right now, but we gonna get better. Like
Yeah.
she got better before, like we gonna get better again, like it's all right,
Mhm.
like even though I was young, like I spent New Year's by myself or whatever, and I was just like, it's kind of harsh that
Yeah, I'm
my mom
sure.
went to the hospital or whatever.
Mhm.
uh but at the same time, like it was just never like a downer.
Mhm.
We never looked at it as like a oh my god, like this is gonna end us or whatever, like we
Mhm.
can't stay here no more, like just never give up.
Mhm.
So like you said, like I feel like God really does put you in the same position so many times,
Mhm.
because sometimes maybe you missed it, or maybe you
Yes.
didn't really grasp it, you
Or you
know?
almost grasped it, but
Yeah,
you didn't fully
yeah,
buy into it.
yeah,
Or
yeah, exactly, exactly. So I don't know.
yeah.
I just feel like that really put us in like a never quit type of state of mind.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's what he wanted for us he put back when he put her in surgery,
Right.
that time. And I feel like him like allowing her body to let that cancer grow
Mhm.
and doing all that and putting her into surgery again. And uh there's many more blessings that we got that I'm not. It's just not about the topic or whatever. So it's like I'm not gonna get into it, but
You're good.
yeah, but it's just I just feel like he let her body do that
Mhm.
to really like engrave that in our minds that, hey, like we've made it this far,
Yeah.
and like we have so much stuff going on that we're not quitting, you know.
Right.
And we're a family of three, like we can't quit, like it's just not
Mhm.
like that.
Like
So
it's gonna get
I feel
better.
like
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like I feel like that's what really like it's just always been that. Like
Mhm.
I feel like he always puts this lesson that it's always like about like family and about like just never, I don't know, just never quitting on really stuff that you love,
Mhm.
and just bad situations and like uncertainty, because like, hey, we never knew that she was gonna get out of that hospital,
Right.
you know. We never
Mhm.
knew that she was gonna get better.
Mhm.
Like we never knew that her treatment was gonna be free. Like this was the crazy thing. Like her treatment was free, completely
Wow.
free. Like it was mind blowing, right? Like we never knew that.
Yeah, it's like a miracle.
So he was like, yeah, exactly. That's the only word. It's a
Yeah.
miracle for real. So it's like, like who am I to quit on God's doing?
Mhm.
Like he did this for us. Like he gave us all these blessings and all
Mhm.
these phases in our lives just for us to be like, hey, like I don't think this is gonna work no more. Let's go back. Like no, come on now.
Yeah.
Like
And you remember those times, you know? You
yeah,
remember
exactly.
the
Yeah,
times where okay, your mom getting cancer doesn't compare at all to anything relating with sports. You know what I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So, I'm sure
It
anytime you
doesn't.
face something with sports, it's I got through this before.
Mm-hmm.
I got through this. If God pulled
Yeah,
me through this, if
yeah,
things all worked out how they were supposed to after this,
yeah. How
then
can it not work out now?
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
yeah,
And like I don't think
super
that
relatable.
obviously I still think it's really unfortunate that she did get sick and
No,
all
for
of
sure.
that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it probably taught you guys lessons that you can't even like put into words
Never.
of,
Yeah,
you
exactly,
know.
exactly. That's why I did. That's what I think too. So I do feel like seasons of uncertainty, like regardless if it's sports or family or spirituality, like is your faith with God good, or like like what do you need to do better to be like does God really accept you or whatever. Like I feel like I just feel like God really just does that to teach you stuff that you really just can't put into words,
Yeah.
you know, and to for you to get something out of every obstacle and every situation that He puts you through, you
Mhm.
know, because that's what it's about.
Mhm.
That is what it's about, you know.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I had written on here, like, at the end of the day, what's required to grow during a season of
Hmm.
uncertainty? And the main thing is just, it always just boils down to trust, just having trust.
For
That,
sure, faith.
and I
Yeah,
also think
having
it's
that
one
belief.
thing that to know or like know deep down that something's going to work out, and another thing to have your actions and thoughts and beliefs, like when something does come down in your life, to not panic is a whole nother
And
thing.
you're ready, basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess kind of just shifting topics a little bit. You do like, and maybe we'll keep this one brief, but you do
Hmm.
so many things. Like, for people that don't know Bruno, he balances work, he balances training really hard. And I don't know if you've started prep school or not, but
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have.
training for that, and then school and all of that. So, what would be like your main advice for people that are doing a lot, also balancing the responsibility that you have with your family as well?
So I did do like sports in school and work,
Mhm.
whatever. Uh, I would say honestly, what's always just kept me like down to it and just like never just really uh uh like what's the word, like dreading what I did,
Yeah. Mhm.
like oh, like I wake up today and like I don't feel like going to football, like I don't feel like
Mhm.
like I don't feel like going to work, like type, you know. I feel like what's really just kept me down is just like that vision that a what if this takes me somewhere, or like what if what I'm doing right now pays off in like 2 years, or like
Mhm.
like if I keep on working, maybe I'll get a raise, or like if I if I work harder, maybe I'll get like maybe I'll get placed in the game, like
Right. Yeah.
and also, but like another thing though, like my family, like I feel like that's just the root, you know,
Mhm.
just my family, and just I want to be better, and I want to give my family a better life.
Yeah, like create something for the people that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
love.
exactly, yeah. I feel like that's really what's like holding me down, and that 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 faith that I have
Mhm.
just holds up so much that I feel like regardless the weight that's on my shoulders, I feel like I could carry whatever if I
Mhm.
just have that faith, you
Yeah.
know.
Cuz
So
anything thrown
yeah,
at you, it's not just you carrying it,
yeah,
you know?
exactly. I feel like God's there for everything and everyone, and yeah, and that's how it's always gonna be.
Mhm.
So I feel like my advice would just be, have faith, have vision.
Mhm.
You gotta have a vision. You gotta have, because if you're doing something just aimlessly, it's not gonna take you anywhere.
Yeah, and it's probably not going to last motivation-wise
Yeah,
either.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Motivation wise, either. Yeah, and yeah, have
Mhm.
that, have a want. I feel like people need a desire.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you could relate to this, but I feel like also, especially with all the things that you balance, all the things you've been through, these seasons of uncertainty that have all
Hmm.
worked out to make you the person that you are today, it's also something that, like, when I go through things or things are changing, it feels like something's pulling like in my heart, like it's like deep, like a calling or like intuition, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
when you did have those shifts in your life, like did you feel when you were going to Creekside that like a pull or like a deep belief that it's gonna work out, even though it
Yeah, I
was at
did.
some
Like
times,
weirdly. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that even though you can't see it, it's pulling you and you just have a good feeling
Yes.
about it, even though it's hard at times or even though it's
Yes. Yes.
uncertain or this or
Yeah.
that, I feel like even with your mom, you and your brother had that faith and had that deep
Yeah.
intuition and that belief that
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna get through this.
Yeah,
Because
and I feel like I didn't mean to cut you off.
you're good.
Uh, I feel like, but that's what uncertain is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel that because of our faith, like even though uncertainty is, 50-50, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like because of our faith, it makes it
It's like
like
skewed.
70-30. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like it makes it like I have more faith that this is gonna go good than if I did this, would it be bad? Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
think like that, you know? I think of it as like, hey, like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna see how it goes,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
You
And
know?
then, with living your life the way that you do, with every single day showing up for your family,
Hmm.
showing up on the
Hmm.
field, showing up at work, showing up in the classroom, all you can do is that. And
Hmm.
you know
Exactly.
you're not going to know. Like right now, I don't know how it's going to be when I move to Chicago and it's a new school. I don't know how my body's going to hold up in general. You know what I mean? But all I can do is just do my best. And then at the end of the day,
Hmm.
even if it is that 70-30 odds, even if the odds do go toward the 30 side, you can't
Yeah.
look back and have a regret
Yeah.
about it, because
Nah,
at the
yeah,
end of the
exactly,
day, you're going
Ken.
to learn something from it, and
Yep.
then it's going to
Yep.
eventually turn into something for your good if you
Something
keep,
else. Yep.
yeah, if you have that desire, if you're following the intuition that God has on your heart and you just keep showing up, you
Hmm.
know? Because
Hmm.
inevitably we're going to face things that you take L sometimes.
For sure. For sure. Definitely.
So, I guess just to wrap up, which is like a lot of things that we covered today, to try to
Yeah.
summarize it in a
Yeah.
few words, so it might be a little bit longer. But first of all, just thank you so much for your time, like joining
Of
me on the
course.
show and
Yeah.
sharing some of your story. And
Hmm.
then I guess just what is your biggest advice for somebody who either is, the specific audience of people that are moving countries or moving schools? Like I have teammates that come from different countries to come play, or somebody that's just entering a new season in their
For
life.
sure.
What would be
For
like
sure.
your main advice for somebody like that?
Yeah, I know I'm not, the only one that's going through what I've gone, or like, probably not exactly, but like in a certain way, of course.
Mhm.
Uh, my advice would be really have that trust in God, have that,
Yeah.
just wherever He takes you, just know it's for your good, and just know it's like just something that, not that it's better for you than other things that you want to do,
Mhm.
but that is the way that you are going to create more stuff than you would have if you were to do something else, in a sense.
Right. Mhm.
Like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yes. Like it could look
Like,
really bad right now, but what's
yeah,
coming
yeah,
is 10 times greater than what
yeah,
you
yeah,
wanted in
yeah,
the first
exactly,
place.
exactly, exactly.
Like if you just
I feel, yeah,
knew what's coming, you wouldn't
yes,
be
yes,
panicking or worried about
yeah,
what you
yeah. I feel like
see.
that hope, hope. You gotta have hope, you know, got to
Hmm.
patience, for
And
sure.
kind of like an undying hope. Like no matter what
Yeah,
happens,
yeah.
I'm gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm. For sure, for sure.
So,
You know.
I hope that everyone learned something from this podcast and
Yes.
definitely took something away from Bruno's story. There's so many amazing things to take away, especially just with faith and with almost having an excitement surrounding uncertainty, because there's infinite possibilities of how things are going to turn out. And it's going to be really cool to see those things play out, especially if you're doing all the right things. You're eventually going to win, even if it's not
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
thought it was going to look like.
Yeah.
But, every
Eventually, yeah.
season of life requires focus, trust, patience, and
For
I
sure.
just hope that this episode helps you, whoever you are listening, embrace the uncertainty that might accompany you in whatever season of life you might be in. And if you have any experiences with uncertainty in sports or whatever, I'd love to hear about that. And you can reach out to me or leave a review or whatever on the podcast, or reach out on social media. And
Yeah, you can reach out to
yeah,
me too, man. For sure.
yeah, I'll put your
Yeah,
at in the description,
for
but
sure.
Bruno Alves. And yeah, without further ado, thank you so much again, and
For
tune in
sure.
to the next episode of the Live with Grace podcast.
All right.
Cool.
That was fun, man.
You were good at that. Your
That
responses
was
were so
fire.
good.